Shalom, family. It took me a while to get on, but I'm here. I'm here. I hope all of you are doing well. You know, um, one thing I notice whenever people are going through a hard time, they also always want to apply that hard time to us. And, we already know Edom does it all the time. And now we're seeing these folks that are labeled as immigrants in the country. They are now trying to pull this little stunt. And I've heard this on a couple of videos recently where they said, well, if we get imported, y'all gonna get imported too. And no, we're not. Okay. And we got an example to look at when Trump was in office between 2016 and 2020, he didn't deport us. He deported y'all. Okay. He deported your people. This ain't no I'm Latino and I say so. It doesn't work that way. And number two, the thing that you must remember is we did not willingly cross a border into America. And see, another indicator that Donald Trump don't mean us is back during the debate. What did he say? The immigrants are taking the black jobs, right? So why would he say something like that if we are immigrants too? See, what you're saying don't even make any sense. And let me make another thing very clear. You light and bright Latinos are not original people. You light and bright Arabs are not original people. Okay. You are the mixture of many things, but you are not an original person. We are the original people of the earth. And that is a claim nobody else among all of these groups can make. We are the original. All right. And this was once an all melanated planet at one point in time, which means this landmass would have been melanated too. So don't get it twisted. He's not talking about us. And it's amazing. Just like we know judgment is coming upon the Gentiles, and the Gentiles are sitting there like we gonna join in with them with the judgment. No, we're not. No, we're not. You know, many of you are just confused, and it just goes to show you you don't even know who you are, and you don't know who we are either. So, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Homan, who is picked as the border czar by Donald Trump, he's talking about them. And where is he starting? Texas. When they cross that border, many of them cross right into Texas. That's not us doing that. It's not us. All right. And when they say they want to take the country back, I think some of y'all don't understand what that means. When you hear groups spoken about in America, there are two groups in this country that are spoken about above all other groups, and that is Black people and white people. You will constantly hear them talking about Black people and white people. You know why? Because at the end of the day, when they say take this country back to the way it was, what they want to see are Black people, white people, and what they deem as natives. All of you other people, and their eyes are expendable. They can pack you up and get you completely out of here. That's what they're talking about. All right. That's what they're talking about. They're not talking about all of you other little baggage groups because you just came over here with your baggage. And the reason why immigrants are spoken so badly about in this country is because of the arrogant way y'all come in here. You cross the border illegally, and then you take on this attitude of entitlement when you get here. You act like you're more entitled to everything here than the people that are already here and are not immigrants. That's the problem. And many of you come over like that. You act like something is owed to you here in America. That's why people feel the way that they do about you. You know, y'all walk around here like that, like something is owed to you in this country. How is something owed? You're not even a taxpayer here. How the hell is something owed to you? And many of you, and I have heard it from your own mouths, you came to take. You want your money, you want this, you want that. That's why people got a problem with the ones that come across the border. That's why. So I got a video that I want to show you on what Tom Holman said, all right, about immigration. This man is ready to go. Donald Trump is not even in office yet, but you got this immigration czar, this border czar. He is ready for you. All right. And you can hear it in how he speaks. And he got a big problem with people that come across that border. And you're going to hear it right out of his own mouth. He's not talking about us. He's talking about y'all. He's talking about your family. And another laughable thing, they have been all over videos saying, oh, well, Latinos, we got family values. We're good people. You think these folks give a crap about you being some good person? If you're here illegally, it ain't going to matter what kind of person you are. They want you out of here. Y'all sound like a bunch of fools. America does have some family values. They sure don't prop it up. But when they talk about those family values, they're not talking about illegal family values. So if you're here illegally, they're not talking about your family values. Are you kidding me? They don't care what your family values are. They want you out of here. All right, let me share my screen because I want you to see this video that he did on ABC News. Let's see, I got it right here. All right, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. All right, let's get this commercial pass.
Border czar spoke to Texas National Guard soldiers and public safety troopers on the border today. Tom Homan promised to help implement what is being billed as the largest deportation program in U.S. history, just on the horizon once Trump takes office next year. CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez is at the border tonight. Camilo, always good to see you. Appreciate your reporting. What are you hearing from Homan? You study this immigration issue. You report on the border and policymakers on this front. Homan has a lot of tough talk. What's behind the tough talk?
Well, Bob, incoming border czar Tom Homan and Governor Abbott of Texas did not come here to the U.S.-Mexico border just to give out turkey to National Guard soldiers. They also came here effectively to announce that the state of Texas and the incoming Trump administration will work closely together and carefully on the issue of immigration and border policy. As you know, Governor Abbott over the past 3 years has been making an aggressive stance on immigration, busing tens of thousands of migrants to Democratic-led cities and deploying thousands of troops and state troopers to the U.S.-Mexico border to fortify it with razor wire and other barriers. And he is now effectively offering all that manpower and resources to the incoming administration, who, as you know, Bob, is promising a flurry and slew of executive actions on immigration and border policy, including the largest deportation operation in American history. And some people like Stephen Miller, the incoming deputy chief of staff at the White House, have talked about the idea of deputizing the National Guard in friendly states to arrest and deport migrants who are in the country illegally. Texas, of course, Bob, would of course be a friendly state who could potentially collaborate with the incoming administration on that front. And Homan said today that that mass deportation operation will happen because he argues there has been a mass illegal immigration crisis here at the U.S.-Mexico border. And finally, Bob, he issued a stark warning to so-called sanctuary cities that limit cooperation with federal immigration authorities. He said that it is illegal to harbor or conceal undocumented immigrants, saying, quote, "Don't test us."
Camila Montoya Galvez, thank you. He's reporting for us at the border. For more on this, let's bring in our panel. Dave Weigel, a politics reporter for Semaphore. Nicholas Wu is a congressional reporter for Politico. Dave, let's begin with you. We heard from Pod Save America today.
Okay, y'all, I just wanted to add this in. We're going to finish this video. Holman is saying that any mayor in this country that gets in the way of immigration when they try to deport people, any of these U.S. mayors that get in the way, they will be arrested. They will be arrested. Now, so far, the Denver, Colorado mayor said he was going to block immigration from coming in there and deporting. And Holman said if he does, he's going to have the mayor arrested. They ain't playing, y'all. They are not. Yep. He said he's going to have the Denver mayor arrested if he tries to get in the way when they're deporting people out of there. They're not playing. They said they're going to lock these politicians up. These mayors, they said, that are trying to safeguard these sanctuary cities are going to go to jail. So this is serious. I mean, this is all coming out prior to Donald Trump even being inaugurated. You see, this man is serious about his job. He's going to get these people out of here. All right, y'all, let's resume. Let's go on.
Some of these Harris advisors talking about what went wrong. As Democrats look ahead and they hear Tom Homan and other Trump people talk about the border policy, talk about mass deportations, what's the Democrats' plan? Is it going to be protests in the streets, real mass outcry on Capitol Hill, or is it going to be something else? What are you hearing?
Well, it depends on what their job is. For Democratic governors, Democratic mayors, to the extent available to them, because some of their states, if you're a mayor, have made it impossible to become a sanctuary city, they're going to resist having their law enforcement used to assist ICE. They've been doing that for 20 years in some places. So how does that resistance break down? What clashes do they get into? That's a question for municipal officials and for governors. For Democrats in Congress, there are going to be bills that have components they voted for in the past that they'll be asked to vote on in really the next few months, January, once they get here, and they'll have a choice to make. Do they want to what do they want to be associated with? Every Democrat does have a memory of how unpopular these border enforcement actions were when Donald Trump was president the first time. That's a reason their party moved to the left. So there's a wait and see attitude by those who can wait and see. The governors and mayors are already saying, here are the things we're not going to help you with.
Nicholas, what about on Capitol Hill? When you're covering Congress, what are they preparing for, both on the Republican side and the Democratic side, in terms of how the executive branch is going to be handling this versus how Congress is going to be handling this?
Well, right now on Capitol Hill, what we're seeing is Republicans start to lay the groundwork for what they could do policy-wise next year on immigration. There's talk among Republicans of trying to use, this fast-track legislative process known as reconciliation to try to include immigration and border enforcement provisions, in the same way that Democrats had tried to use that several years back to include protections for Dreamers. Now, for Democrats, what they're going through right now is this whole post-election reckoning, including a series of closed-door listening sessions between members of Congress and their leadership. And what we've seen among quite a few Democratic lawmakers is that they've looked to purple district lawmakers like Tom Suozzi of New York and Don Davis of North Carolina, who really took the issue of immigration and ran with it and responded to Republican attacks on the border. And that is something that we could perhaps see a lot from Democrats over the coming years.
Dave, what about when it comes to trade? Are you hearing any murmurs from Republicans in the Senate about President-elect Trump and what he's doing?
No, it's been pretty supine, pretty favorable. Again, wait and see, especially among Republicans who, even if they trust everything Donald Trump said on the campaign trail regards to immigration, regards to judicial appointments, they have not come to grips with how serious he is about tariffs. So there's some pushback. The impulse a lot of Republicans have learned last time is that if the market show that something is unpopular for Donald Trump, he can be moved off that. If people are lacking confidence, if the dollar is weakening, if there's a stock sell-off, a large stock sell-off, that moves the president to the position they want him to get away from. Sorry, that moves the president away from the position that they want him to get away from. But right now, no, he's got a lot of people who were not there last time, or people who joined the Senate in the Trump era previously, who are inclined to give him what he wants. He's not going to get the same kind of resistance you saw when Bob Corker was in the Senate, Lamar Alexander, Mitt Romney were in the Senate and loudly using their microphones to say, we're going to resist him. They're kind of waiting on other actors to do the resisting for them.
And Nicholas, on this point, putting you on the spot a little bit here, who's one Republican in the Senate you are constantly watching to really get a sense of where things are going, and who's one Democrat in the Senate?
I think among Republicans, I'd be curious to see where the wind blows with the real moderate decision makers, like Susan Collins of Maine, one of the few, blue state Republicans who's still there, and so let's, that'll give us a good sense of where she lands. As for Democrats, I'm curious to see how people like Chris Murphy of Connecticut, someone who's really tried to reinvent his own standing in the party. He's been talking a lot these days about neoliberalism, and he'll be an interesting voice to watch in the Trump era.
We're going to have to leave it there, gentlemen. Dave Weigel and Nicholas Wu, thank you for your reporting. We appreciate it.
Okay. So I don't think they're playing around. They're going to start getting people out of here, like Trump said on day one. And anybody that gets in the way, they're going to be dealt with. They're very serious. Well, they're not going to snatch us up, y'all. I mean, come on. We already saw what Donald Trump did the first time he was in office. He never showed any interest in snatching us up and getting us out of here. But he did when it comes down to these people that have crossed the border. That's where his focus is. And that's where the focus is now. Yeah, that's why he wants to get rid of a lot of their naturalization status that they have in this country, because they come here and then have babies and they think that is the way they get to stay. And Donald Trump want to take all of that away. He doesn't want them here at all. And they are going to get out of here. I think he's very serious about getting these people out of here. And it should be a mass deportation, and it's going to be a lot of them leaving on their own because they're going to be too petrified of being confronted by immigration. Because, I was listening a few weeks ago and they were saying they want to go door to door and get these people, and I think they will. I think they will. They're not playing around at all. It'll be interesting to see how some of these mayors react. The ones that have been really strong in protecting the immigrants and want to give them all kinds of perks and goodies and money. Let's see if they're going to still be bold when ICE shows up in their state to get these people out. Or are they just going to go somewhere and be quiet? Well, the dreamers, actually, that was a term that came from the civil rights movement. Dr. Martin Luther King, that was not meant for immigrants, but they have hijacked that. They've hijacked it. The dreamers were our people, fighting for our freedom. Those were the dreamers, but they took it and just laid it upon the immigrants. And those were not the dreamers that Dr. Martin Luther King were talking about. He wasn't talking about them. That was us. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's the way they come across the border. They come across the border. Number one, they come across the border racist and come and display their racism when they get here, especially towards us. And to add insult to injury, they come with this entitled attitude. And I think that is what has turned a lot of people off about them. It's one thing if you come here and work. It's another when you come here and you literally are living off of the taxpayer money. And that's what many of them are doing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, So, we're not that far off from Donald Trump taking office. The time is going by pretty quickly. We're almost in December. So, when Donald Trump finally take office, a lot of these people are going to try to go into hiding or up and go somewhere else. But what they don't realize is many of them stick out like a sore thumb. So I don't know where they're going to go. Some of them don't, but there are many. Come on, y'all. There are many that stick out like a sore thumb, for real. But you can't be angry with us about nothing. Y'all were the ones that many of your own people went and pulled that lever for Donald Trump. So you're going to have to just deal with the fallout that comes with that. That's all I'm saying. You got to deal with the fallout now. A lot of people say, oh, well, they're voting against their best interests. And no, actually, they know what they're doing when they're voting. They know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So you can best believe behind the scenes, they are putting together big operations for all of these states that these migrants or immigrants, illegals are in. And they trust me, by the time they get this thing off, it's going to be hitting several states at once. That's what they're going to do. They're going to hit several states at once. If you think they're not organizing behind the scenes how they're going to do this whole thing, you better think again. So instead of worrying about whether the melanated people here are immigrants or not, you better worry a little more about yourself. That's all I got to say to y'all. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream. Thank you so much for being here, and keep your eye on the sales. I'm going to take another 5% off starting Black Friday into Sunday. So instead of 25% off of my products, it's going to go to 30% off. So take advantage, especially before all of these tariffs go into place. And I don't know if any of you heard, Donald Trump want to make the tariffs 25%. 25%. You know how crazy that is? 25%. So, yeah, so, just be prepared once he takes office to start digging deeper in your pockets. So, everybody, please enjoy the rest of your day. Shalom, family.